Hi, friends. Welcome back for another episode on the Renewed and Free podcast. My name is Fanina Pinto, your host. And today is quite special because we are hosting our very first guest. And I'll leave this few minutes for you to guess who that is. But in the meantime, enjoy the video. God bless you. Hi, once again, friends. My name is Fanina Pinto, your host. And as you can see, today I am not alone and I am super excited about this specific episode. I'm going to allow our guest to introduce himself and tell us why I am this excited.
Now tell us why you're this excited,
I
Fanny.
am very excited. Yes.
Let's start from my name. My name is Mark Langa. Yes, I've done my part.
Okay, so this is Mark Langa. I bet most of you know him, and if you don't, then you are going to get to know him today. And we are talking about music, fame, and the spirit behind the sound.
That's good.
So tell us a little bit about you. First of all, how are you feeling? How are you
Well, feeling good. It always feels good to be with good people.
feeling? Okay.
Yeah, and this feels more like family.
Yes, it is family actually.
Yeah.
So I remember I met you years ago. I was still a little girl, right? I hope you're not amongst the people that still see others like later. You're not growing.
Well, when you're being hosted on a show, you have to be careful how you see people. It might kick you out.
Right, but we are not going to do that. Mark is actually family. The reason why I believe that you are the best person for this is because I have seen you for quite a while. So I understand that you're carrying something, right? I know you're very humble, but I'm going to say it. You carry something on the inside of you that most of us have bet on. So that's why I can testify on that. So tell us a little bit about you. How did you grow up before we get into music?
Okay. Well, thank you for that very detailed and very generous introduction. Like I said, my name is Mark Langa,
Right.
and I grew up in a Christian family, the youngest of two children. I have a big sister. Shout out to my big sister Grace.
Hi,
Yeah, and it was the two of us. For the longest time, I wanted a younger sibling. But the Lord did not grant me that. Nevertheless, I did grow up, and my parents were always very loving and very caring, and we didn't grow up with a lot of. I wouldn't say we were poor, but neither were we privileged. I remember the normal mode of transport was taxi.
Right.
Yeah, for the longest time. And we didn't have a TV at home until I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
And all of those things maybe sound weird today, but that was my childhood.
Right.
That was how I grew up, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was always very interested in knowing what.
The curious side.
Yes, very curious. In fact, I dare say geeky. Yes, and I still have, I think I'm still very much curious and geeky. But yeah, that was me.
Okay. So now let's talk about music because I know that that's something is more like English to you. So were you always born with a saxophone in your hands? Because it feels like it. Whenever you grab that thing, the atmosphere just begins to change. And it's been what, 27 years already? That feels like a long time if you ask me. So were you
People are going to think I'm old.
family secret?
Yes.
Well, family secret is already out there. But tell us, were you always born with a saxophone in your hand?
I wish the answer was yes, but unfortunately the answer is no. And in fact, I wasn't even very much interested in saxophone, probably until about the age of about 9, 10, thereabout. But yeah, the first instrument that I actually, even before learning an instrument, my first exposure to music again was, at home,
Okay.
and it was with my dad's cassette player.
Okay.
Yeah, for those who don't know what a cassette player is, Google is your friend, and AI is his little brother.
Okay.
Can help you with that. But yes, my dad had quite a collection of music, both classical, but also contemporary music. So my mom also had her collection, and I thought they brought them together. So at home, there was always there was a wide selection of music to play.
Yeah.
And I think my curious nature, I always wanted to hear what's on this tape, what's on, and somehow also to compare, okay, what the cover of the tape is versus what it actually sounds like.
Right.
And it wasn't long after that that really my curiosity, or like my interest in music, developed from there, because listening to music suddenly, or like at a certain point, I mean, you hear sound,
Seriously.
and to me personally as a kid, and I mean going back to my curious nature, the things I would listen to and wonder, what is that, or what instrument is that, or how do people make a sound like that?
Right.
And so very quickly music became a serious thing to me. And I was the kind of kid who could sit down and listen to music. Yeah, other kids are outside playing, but like music was such a serious thing that even as a kid I would sit down and listen to the music because it was just so fascinating for me. And really that's where my journey began from, because the next stage when I actually started taking piano lessons. So piano was my first instrument. Yeah, and I took piano lessons as a kid. The school that I went to, there was a lady who was a missionary.
Yes.
And she gave free piano lessons.
Wow.
And I was the beneficiary of some of her free lessons. Some of you may know her today. She has a music college not very far from here, the African Institute of Music. Dr. Maria Kim. Hi, Dr. Maria. Yes, but she was very passionate about giving music lessons. So I remember now, having listened to music in her lessons, whenever the piano would be played, or whenever I'd hear more than 2 or 3 notes, it would sound, or my brain would connect it to a song that I'd heard before. That sounds like this song. Oh, it seems like it's almost like they're playing this song. Why? Because the music that I'd listened to now, it was recorded in my head. And so it didn't start with piano, because by the time I was doing piano, already there was a lot of music in my head. And I know later on we're going to talk about this, but music, and more specifically what you listen to, matters.
Right.
Because it doesn't just go through one ear and come out the other. It actually gets stored inside you.
Yes. Bye.
Yes.
So, with everything that you've said, and there was, like a summary of your experience. It's been 27 years. Can I say industry or in the music?
In music.
In music.
Clearly, the industry part came later.
Yes. Okay.
So much later on, eventually I developed interest in wind instruments. Yeah, that's the flute, clarinet, saxophone, that sort of thing. And it really started when I heard a certain saxophonist playing. It's called Kenny G. When I heard Kenny G play, like, it did something to me. And I felt very strongly that I have to be able to do this. I need to learn how to do this. But I didn't have an instrument. But I mean, I think that was the time, around the age of 9 or 10, that it became very clear or very real to me that there's something about wind instruments. Because before that, I was playing the piano, I was playing the keyboard, and I'd actually become very interested in keyboard, and I was actually making progress in it. But my attention really went towards the wind instrument. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that, but
That
industry came. Industry comes later.
I didn't even know anything about wind instruments.
Wind instruments.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, with your experience and passion in music, can you say that music is spiritual?
Absolutely, definitely, and yeah, music is spiritual in every culture. First of all, every culture has one form or another of worship. And in every culture, music is always associated with worship. There's no culture where worship and music are separate. Yeah, music is an integral part of worship in every culture. But even aside from that, music is spiritual.
So, at what point did you get to understand this, that music is spiritual? Because music sounds good, by the way. It doesn't matter whether it's Christian or not. It just sounds good, and it has a way of calling people or pulling people. But I believe that with passion, sometimes we don't have direction, most especially if we are still young. When our desires and passions and everything, because for you it started when you were still much younger, when they are not sharpened again, then to mix and be everywhere.
Yeah.
So when did you discover that music was spiritual?
I think growing up in a Christian household, that was, or there were already, should I say, guardrails or boundaries that protected me, and that did not allow me to stray very far. Because one thing is that, I mean, we're always surrounded by music, which is not necessarily of a good nature, or music that whose message or whose inspiration is not necessarily good. But growing up in a Christian home, we were told, hey, there's music that's acceptable, and there's music that, at least in this home, they're not going to entertain, and that sort of thing. But I think it must have been sometime in high school, when, now for those of you who are old enough to remember, and there was a gentleman called Roger Mugisha, and he was a former devil's agent, and he shared his testimony because he was very much active in the music world, and the entertainment world, and he spilled the beans, and he said, "Hey, these artists who you idolize, the things that they do, and the power that is associated to that." And I think it was actually a movement at that time. I remember there were documentaries, which I believe you can still find up to today. They sold their souls for rock and roll. That was another documentary about rock and roll or rock music, and the dark side of it, and how people had sold their souls to the devil, how people were playing in a song itself, underneath a song were words played backwards, which if you played them the other way around, there'd be secret messages and all kinds of things. And I think to me that showed me that hey, music is not hey, you be there. Like, music can be used, very, very in a very wrong way.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course, coming back to the fact that music is very spiritual.
Yeah.
And so I think it was in my teenage years that that understanding came to me. And so at the back of my mind, always, I mean, even as a curious or even rebellious at sometimes teenager, I mean, that knowledge was at the back of my mind. Yeah.
You say that you're a very curious person. So I'm just
Yes.
curious to know, before the person came to your school and gave up a testimony, were you curious enough to find out the other part of music that was not allowed at home?
Now that you mention it, now those days, MP3 players, what are they called? Mobile phones were not a thing. It was the radio station. So if it was not cassettes, yeah, it was, if you didn't have that physical cassettes, which later became CDs
Yeah.
and that sort of thing, it was radio station and TV. And I remember the two major stations were Capital and I think Sanyu FM.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember a lot of times listening to Capital FM, actually even at home. Used to listen to radio a lot, and I mean there were songs which would play, and I mean know the lyrics of this song, or that's my favorite song. Oh, I like this song, and yeah. Oh, then going to high school. Oh my goodness, that was the days of rap, DMX. Gosh, I'm exposing my age. Hey.
Guys, do not calculate his age. Okay?
Yes. The days of, I mean, Tupac and Busta Rhymes and Puff Daddy, who eventually became P. Diddy. And that was the music. J-Lo and LL Cool J, and those were the guys. And I mean, in school, I mean, people had radios, people had sound systems, and that was the music that was being played. But again, you'd listen or you'd hear this music, but somewhere inside you know that this music is not.
It's not good.
Yes, so you only, should I say, let it in halfway, or like you enjoy, but with one eye open. But yeah, I mean, we're exposed to music. I mean, think of a world without music. Music is playing everywhere, in the taxis,
Yeah.
as you walk along the road, on TV. I mean, and yeah, so music has always been there, and I had more than enough opportunities, if not by my own choice. But I mean, the neighbor is playing a song on their radio, and I mean,
You're already nodding your head.
and the foot is tapping, and I mean, that's
It
it.
gets worse when you know the lyrics.
Yes.
Them.
Yes, and you know when the artist does this, and you've seen the video, and yes, yeah. So I had more than enough opportunities to exactly, or for my curiosity to get the better of me.
Yeah. So I prefer to call that moment that you had in school as encounter, right? Your encounter with truth.
Yeah, it was actually a conference during the holidays.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, your encounter with truth during the holidays. Didn't you think it was a myth? Because the spiritual realm has been pictured as, no, this guy's doing too much. I think he's crazy. He's too Christian. So didn't you think, these are lies?
No, I think I understood. I think I understood from the word code that first of all the spiritual realm is real, and the things which, because you asked me, for example, when did you realize that music was spiritual? Now, the actual realization maybe came at that time, but I mean, the things that you experience, which you may not be able to put a title or a name to, but I mean, it's real. You're actually experiencing it, and I think with the spiritual world, or the spiritual realm, it was too real to ignore, and so I was not of the. I was not one of the people who felt like, nah, it's too real. If anything, It felt like, wow, you need to tell us more. What else could have been going on without us knowing? Yeah.
So what would you tell me if I believe that music is just sound? Like, it's just this. What do you mean? What would you tell me if I believe that music is just sound and there is nothing more to it?
Well, that's a very good question, Fanny. And what I can say is that so going back to so geeky me became an industrial chemist, and so chemistry was my favorite subject. This is relevant because I did sciences in A-level, and a lot of the way that I think was informed by, the things that we learned. Now, let's go back to chemistry class. Remember solutions?
I never liked chemistry.
Okay.
But I remember solutions.
Very good. I believe a solution is a mixture of a solvent and a solute, or something which gets dissolved in something else. I think music is a good solvent. And what that means is that a solvent, think of something like tea. Yeah? Tea is water, but it has tea leaves, it has sugar, it may have some spices. Yeah. Not to mention milk. Yeah. Let's think about black tea. Right. Doesn't have any milk. But in that water, which is the solvent, there's sugar, there's tea leaves, there's spices. So that means when you take the water, you take water, but you also be taking sugar, you also be taking tea leaves, you also be taking spices.
Okay.
Yeah. And so music, I feel, is like a good solvent. It is sound, but within the sound, are a lot of other things. And you see a solution, when you're looking at a sugar solution, for example, you don't see, there is one crystal of sugar, and there is another crystal of sugar, and no, it's all mixed together. It's all in one. So you're taking one uniform thing, but it has all these different things in it. Now, it's even better when you think about, something like soda, preservatives, food coloring, acidulants. I'm sorry, I'm a chemist. Yeah? But, there are all these things, but you don't see, preservative. Yes, I see some preservative there. I'm seeing a little bit of, no, it's all together. So you take one sip of soda, you're taking in all these things at once. And so music is sound. It absolutely is. And sound is vibration of air particles, waves. Yeah? But within the sound waves, there are lots of other things, including spiritual things. And here is the proof. Yeah? You listen to sound. Think of your favorite song. You're hearing sound waves. Yeah? It begins playing on your phone. Those are sound waves. You're hearing sound waves. But in the midst of hearing sound waves, your mood changes. How does that happen? In the midst of vibration of air particles, your blood pressure literally goes down. Or you begin to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel more at peace. You actually begin to start feeling the vibe. That can't just be vibration of air particles. Yes, it certainly is, but there's much more going on there.
Yeah, beneath here.
And so music definitely is spiritual. And to me, those are some of the things that show that, yes, you have the physical aspect of it, the sound, the vibration, but there's much more happening along with that.
So things are getting hot.
Are they? Come on now. We're just getting started.
Yes. You said a lot of things that I do think about, but also because I've also experienced both worlds, one foot in, one foot out. So my question is, and I want to pin it on the story in the Bible of David and Saul.
Yes.
where when Saul was being oppressed by demons, David could come and plays, and they would leave. So my question is, can demons operate through music?
Wow. Absolutely. And maybe one other thing that we need to mention is this music, sound, especially, music has a physical element. Yeah, in that it causes physical, it's a physical phenomenon. Air is vibrating, and I mean, you can actually see, like when the speakers are when you can see the cone of a speaker moving, you can see things vibrating. So it's physical, it's a physical thing. But on top of being physical, there's also a spiritual aspect to it. Same thing with a human being. A human being is physical. We can see this physical body, but within the physical, there is also a spiritual aspect to a human being.
Yes, true.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, when somebody dies, we are left with a physical body with the same weight as when they were alive. So, like, it's not like something has left them physically, but yet, I mean, you touch not that you're a dead body and not that you're going to die in Jesus' name.
Amen.
But, I mean, you shake a dead body,
Yeah.
and there's no response. Not because it has lost weight or it has lost any physical, aspect to it, but because the spirit has left. Which means that a human being is physical and spiritual at the same time. And so music, we hear it or we respond to it physically, but it also affects us spiritually. Yeah. Please say the question again.
So do you think demons can operate? By that I mean, can music be like a gate where we are opening up our spirit to something?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Research has been done, and music is a way that things can be communicated even without words.
Wow. Okay.
And so, for example, when people feel a certain way, they gravitate to certain music.
Yes.
Because even without them necessarily saying the words, that music, and very often even without the words, embodies a certain feeling. Yeah. Now, also, music is instructions. Yeah. Let me give you an example. The moment a sebene beat begins to play.
Had to be studied, yes.
Yes. Or a trap beat for that matter. Movement starts to happen.
Yeah.
And of a very specific kind. Somebody is not going to hear a trap song and start dancing Lingala. Or vice versa. Somebody is not going to hear a Lingala song and start breaking. The sound, is giving specific instructions. And another thing that music does is that music goes beyond our defenses. So you cannot fight a sound.
Okay.
Or you cannot resist a sound. That means the sound of music goes beyond a person's defenses. So before they can think about how to respond, it's already affecting them. Yeah. And so because of all of those reasons and even others, music is a very powerful spiritual tool. Yeah. The moment you hear a particular sound, in that sound, so many things can be introduced, including spiritual things. And I love the example that you use, which was that Saul was tormented by demons. Yeah. But the moment David began to play his instrument, the demons had to go.
Yes.
Yeah. And that means demons could be played out of a person. Yeah. But by the same logic, there is a sound that can play demons, exactly, that can welcome them and that can definitely usher them in. Yeah, and I mean, just like someone walks into church and I mean the music is playing and there's just such a heavenly atmosphere. There is music which can be played which can create exactly the opposite. Yeah. And so there's no question about it. Music can be used, I mean, to change an atmosphere. Music can be used, I mean, to what is the word? Yes, usher demons into a place, into a person, into an atmosphere. I mean, look at traditional worship. In traditional worship, most of, or I mean, for hours, they are doing, exactly, they're singing songs, worship songs. Yeah, worshiping the deities that they're worshiping and, what's the word? Inviting them, summoning, invoking them, saying their names. Yeah, and it's also very clear when they arrive. Yeah, because now people start acting in a different way. But how did that all happen? Music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I agree with everything. Not I think, I know. I agree with everything that you said.
Go on.
I have a friend of mine who usually says that until you try to break out of it, you'll think it's freedom.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it feels like it's harmless. It's just sound. We're just
Yes.
vibing. But until you actually take the decision and you're like, I want to leave secular music. I have been there. You delete your songs today, tomorrow you download them back. And since you're leading worship in church, you are afraid that, you know, people will see your list, so you try to hide it. So if it's not a bad thing, why are we hiding it? And then that just leads me to ask you this. There was a conversation that was going on online. And this is actually a gospel artist, if I can say that, a Christian artist.
Yes.
And they were saying that there is a difference between worldly music and secular music.
Okay.
So since you're here, you'll probably enlighten us towards, you know, the truth. Is there a difference between worldly music and secular music?
I'd love to hear what was their difference, or how did they define the difference between secular and worldly?
So they actually say that when the words are like promoting a culture, like they're very vulgar, it's secular.
Okay.
But worldly music, it's not, you know how those love songs, how I can be like, there is nothing wrong. Someone is just singing about life, you know, nature, whatever, so it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not harmful. So what is your opinion on that?
Okay. That's a very good question. And maybe I'll use different words or maybe I'll use the words differently. But this whole debate or this whole question has certain assumptions behind it. So if we're talking about secular and worldly music, then that means there must be music which is the opposite of that, or it must be or there must be sort of like a good kind of music. And most Christians, I mean, would think of it that way: worldly or secular music on one side, and then gospel music or godly music, or I mean, music which is good. Yeah, if I could say that. I feel it's a little bit, or I think a little bit differently on that, and I'm going to bring my argument this way, or I'm going to explain it like this. So, starting with good music, and for us good Christians, or for Christians, yeah, gospel music, yeah. Gospel music is basically about God. It's about the gospel, and particularly about Jesus and how he died for us, and I mean the good news and how he loves us and that sort of thing. Gospel music. Yeah? And then we have, I will generalize this other side as secular music. I don't know this whole distinction. Worldly, I'll put all of them in that and label that as secular. So secular, gospel. My line of reasoning goes like this. Who is the best person to create or to write gospel music? A person who knows God or a person who doesn't know God?
A person who knows that,
Why?
because they will understand who he is, so they can easily communicate.
Very good. They are speaking from a point of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not just head knowledge. They understand who God is, and they can do justice to representing God in music which is about God.
Then
Now, let's come to this other side, secular music. And secular music is basically everything that is not about God. And that includes, all the vulgar music that have bad music. But it also talks, music that talks about nature, music that talks national anthems. Yeah. We also have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, for those of you who memorized the periodic table using songs at Matthew, Simani did what, and that, all of those songs on this other side. Let me generalize and call that music about life or music about the world. Who is the best person to make music about the world?
maybe you can tell us.
I believe it's the same as the best person to make music about God is somebody who knows God. Because first of all, who made the world?
It's God.
God made the world. So music about the world is music about God's creation. And so the best person to write music or to make music about the world and about everything in the world, again, is somebody who knows God, because they will represent God well when talking about his creation. Now, on both sides, even on the gospel side, the best person to write gospel music is a person who knows God. Does that mean that a person who doesn't know God cannot write music about God? They can, and they do. But we're talking about the person who is best qualified or best suited to do so. Same thing here. Best person to talk about life or music, or to make music about life, is a person who knows God, because they'll do justice to it. But that doesn't mean that people who don't know God can't make music about, and they do. The issue is they will not represent God and his standards in the best way, because either they don't know it, or they don't know God's standards, or they simply don't care. And so my argument now is, whether it is music about God or whether it is music about life, people who know God are the best people to make that music. Now, the challenge is with a mindset that has these two compartments. On the one side, we have music about God. On the other side, you have music about what is not God. The problem with that mindset, which many Christians, many of us have or have had, is that when we compartmentalize those two, then people who are godly are only expected to engage on the godly side. And so they want nothing to do with anything that is not explicitly about God and about the gospel. And so they leave music which is about life, which God created, and they say, we only make music about the gospel, about Jesus. And so leaving this space empty has given the devil an opportunity to do whatever he wants and to use whoever he wants to make such a mess of what we call secular music. But just as much as we are meant to create godly music, music which is about God, the people who know God are the best people to make music about life.
Yeah.
Should be the people writing the best love songs, because they know what love is. They know who God is. Yeah. And that's just my perspective. Now, it's different from what a lot of people
would say.
Yes, which is to say, what gospel music is good, secular music is bad. But you see, there's also that gray area which I mentioned. What do you say about national anthems? What do you say about A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Where does that fall? And you see, we can't say that some worldly music is good and some worldly music, or some secular music is good, some secular music is bad. That's a double standard. Everything is of God and therefore should represent God's way of doing, or it should be done in His way. But that doesn't mean that there aren't people who have done things other than how God wants them to be done. But the solution for that is for the truth, or for those who know the truth, to come in and put things right.
So I think
Don't make me preach.
please go on and preach. Hallelujah. I think what you've said is right, because when artists like Pompey and these other artists started singing about love, people were like, how could he? It's like he has committed the sin.
A crime.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
He is creating a space for us to actually also have access
Yes.
to love songs, right? So that we don't have to go outside and look for all those, vulgar things about love and life. And I think you've really made a good point.
Yeah, and I mean that whole divide, gospel, secular gospel, non-gospel. Who created it? Or who draws the line? Who said that, okay, for you, Christians, this is your area. You never cross to... Who drew that line? Yeah. Because it's kind of like saying that Christians love Jesus, but things to do with love, never. You can never fall in love. Who say, I just want to know who created that line and by what authority.
Okay. So still on secular music, there are people who believe, and I used to believe that as well, long time ago, just to justify my own sins. I used to be like, as long as my heart is in the right place,
Yes.
God knows my heart. I'm a child of God. I can listen to this music and then listen to gospel later. So how would, if you would make me that, what would you tell me?
I heard a story of a man. I heard this from high school. A man who had collected a bunch of mangoes, and very beautiful, very juicy mangoes. So he went home in the evening to eat them. So the first mango that he started eating, or he cut, and it was full of worms. But it was such a beautiful mango. You would never have thought. So he threw it away. The second mango, he cuts it, or he begins to eat it, and it's even worse. But the problem was, it was just as beautiful and as good looking. I mean, it was as if they had been smeared with Vaseline, on the outer. So he throws it away as well. And he goes on to the third one. And he cuts the third one, and the third one is also, again, full of worms. You know what he did? He turned off the lights and ate that, and ate the rest of the mangoes.
No, he didn't. I know I love mangoes, but...
He turned off the lights and he ate the rest of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'd say to a person who says, no, as long as my heart is right, I mean, I what's so bad about this? It's just like those mangoes. This person was not a bad person, for wanting to eat those mangoes, but you see, they were full of worms, and so it was not about how bad or how good he was. It was about what it was that he wanted to take, and when he took that, what it would do to him. And in the world today, one of the biggest challenges that we have is access to safe and clean water. But I mean, it's in places where there is no safe or there is no clean water, somebody gets so thirsty that they have no choice to drink but to drink water which they know is contaminated. Now, they are not a bad person. The problem is not with them. The problem is with what they're taking and what it's going to do to them. And so a person is not bad for wanting or for, wanting to listen to secular music or to wanting to consume it. That doesn't make you a bad person. That what is bad is not you. What the issue is not with you. The issue is with what it is that you want to consume and what it's going to do to you. Because no matter how good your heart is, if you take in water which has cholera in it, it's going to affect you. It's going to have a very bad impact or bad influence on you. And same thing, with a person who is struggling with secular music. You're not a bad person, but the issue is what it is that you're consuming and what it does to you, what it can do to you. Yeah. And just like we said, music doesn't ask for permission. It puts thoughts in you, and not just thoughts, it moves emotions, or it stirs up emotions within you without your permission. Yes. And so all of a sudden, according to what you've been listening to, like you'll be in a certain mood. Yeah. You'll be in a certain space simply by listening to this. And that has nothing to do with you deciding or you wanting to be that, but that music has an effect on you. And so, that's what I'd say to this person. The issue is not you. You're a good person. You're such a sweet person. But what you want to consume, is the problem. And I don't have time to go into the confessions that people have made. They're confessions of musicians who say that, oh, this song, I didn't write it. I was, in a certain space, and I put my hand to the paper and lyrics just started flowing out and I recorded it immediately. But I was not the person who wrote that song. Something came over me and I created this song. Yes. And there are too many confessions of that nature. Yes. And not just the inspiration of where the song comes from. I had the story of a song, and I've had experience with a number of different people. I had the story of a song, and again, this is a confession of the artist. This song was released, and the mandate or the assignment behind it was for 100,000 girls to lose their virginity.
Wait, what?
Yes. So this particular artist releases a song, but the objective of the song is that when this song hits the airwaves, that at least 100,000 girls should lose their virginity.
Oh my God.
And so this is not innocent stuff that you're listening to. Yes, it is mainstream. Yes, it has the nicest, coolest beats and vibes. Yeah. And it is made that way to be attractive to young people. But there's an assignment behind it. Yeah. And the people who make it are not trying to hide their objectives. Another person told me that, and this is a person who struggled with, the issue of masturbation. He said for him, this all started with a certain song by a certain artist, who I can mention, but who I will not. But, that's where his struggle with that particular issue began. And so, this is not innocent stuff that we're listening to.
Really?
Yeah. And now, not to mention, the things that people are singing about, the lyrics of some songs are so dark.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're normalizing these things, or and they're personalizing them. That there's a particular song which says that I would have done all of this for you, but I finished all my love on another love. So basically, I have no heart anymore. I have no feelings anymore. I have no. And this is something that a person is singing. yeah, about themselves. They're not singing it about somebody else that, oh, that person has. They're speaking this. And I mean, the scriptures are very clear that life and death are in the power of the tongue. When you say it, like, it is a confession, it is a valid, it is binding. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. These, you are literally, and the spiritual realm is real. You say something, the spiritual realm marks it and executes it. Yeah. And works towards bringing it to pass. And so you're taking in this stuff, and it goes inside you, but it doesn't stop at just going inside you. It's going to start coming out. Yes. But this stuff is not innocent. There is a mandate behind it. And so this is not just another tune or something. This affects somebody.
As you were speaking, the only Bible verse that kept on coming was that surely my people perish for the lack of knowledge.
That's true.
It is not even the devil who kills us. It's our lack of knowledge, our lack of seeking the truth
That's true.
that makes us perish. You talked about consumption, like lyrics and taking things in. I'm just asking somebody out there who might be wondering,
Yes.
can good lyrics make secular music acceptable? Because I've had friends who are like, there is nothing. I think I've said that, but I just want you to clarify.
Okay.
Can good lyrics, we even have people, Christians, on their wedding, they are playing secular music from start to finish. And they're like, I cannot sing a worship song to my wife. I cannot sing a worship song to my wife. So can good lyrics make secular music acceptable?
Okay. Well, that's like saying, can clean water make dirty water clean? So if you have contaminated water and you add clean water to it, it becomes clean, right?
Yeah. I almost fell into that trap.
No. If you're dealing with something that's already been contaminated, however much you add good content to it, I mean, it doesn't change it. But I mean, someone may say, okay, so are you that means you're assuming that everything that is, I mean, yeah, of a certain kind is already bad by itself. But this is what I can say, or this is what I should say. Behind all music, there's a spirit. There's a spirit behind it. There's a spirit operating. There's a spirit that presides over, I mean, that music. And what, yeah, to put it, I mean, should I say, it is the spirit of the person who is making the music. So I may be, and I mean, just look at your celebrities today. What are the things that they're doing, the kind of lives that they're living. That gives you a picture of the spirit that is operating behind this person.
You shall know them by their fruit.
Exactly. So, if a person, I mean, is on weed and on drugs, and I mean, has just come out of rehab and has been, I mean, having an affair with this person, and I don't know, and they're singing a love song, yeah, or they're singing a motivational song, however good the lyrics are, the spirit behind them does not change. And there's a scripture in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, which I think it's verse 12 or 13 there, which says, and little wonder, because Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light, or the devil himself can appear as an angel of light. That means if you're looking for light and for wings and whatever, to know that is, I mean, that is not the devil can do that. Yeah, the devil himself, yeah, but it will still be the devil. And so what people need, I feel, what people need to be most careful of is what is the spirit behind it.
Right.
Yeah, and this is not just with secular music, even with gospel music. Yeah, because who tells you that just because it's gospel music, yeah, that, I mean, the enemy cannot hijack, I mean, certain things.
Come on now.
Yeah. And so I personally have come to believe that, I mean, and it now makes so much sense. But where the biggest force of the enemy is not outside of the church, it's actually within the church. And so if you're thinking secular music, if you're thinking, man, be very careful with what we call godly music or gospel music, or what we consider to be, oh no, that should be good, because that's exactly where the enemy wants or loves to hide, where nobody expects it. Yeah. And so my thing is, what is the spirit behind it? Yeah. The lyrics may be nice. The music itself, we've already said, I mean, is beautiful, is made to make you desire for it. But what is the spirit behind it?
So it is safe to say that we have underestimated the power of music. So I believe that we can go on and on and on about this, because clearly we're both passionate about this topic. But thank you so much for making time to come and, just pour that well of wisdom into us. We have looked at how the music is powerful, how in the Bible it's been used as a powerful tool, and how it really matters. It's not something that we should take light in. So what is one last thing, just for this video, because there's definitely going to be a part 2. Okay. We cannot just let you go like that. So what is one thing that you can tell people about, anything that's on your heart for this part 1? What is one thing that you want to leave with the audience, so that if they forget everything that you said, at least let them remember this one thing? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow, does it have to be one thing only? Well, music is powerful. I know we've spoken about that, and how music has been used, to do all kinds of, crazy things. But I think we also need to understand that music is a beautiful thing, and that it can be used for good. It can and has been used for good. Music can change somebody's life. Music, especially in the right hand, music can change, can be a very positive influence in somebody's life. The spirit behind you, or the spirit that you carry, permeates the music that you make. And this is an encouragement to all, not just music, even, all art. All creatives out there, the music, or the content, the art that you create carries the spirit that you have. And that spirit can touch somebody's life. That spirit can inspire somebody. That spirit can heal somebody. And we've been speaking especially about music. And so I want to encourage somebody out there. God has gifted you something. Paul says in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 6, for this reason I encourage you to fan into flame the gift of God which is in you. Somebody out there, you have a musical gift. You have something, you're carrying something. Paul is saying, don't just sit with it. He's saying, fan it into flame, bring it out. Let it come out. And the reason that he said that is because he called it a gift. And the gift that you have, the gift that you're carrying, just like the talents, were not meant to be buried. They were meant to be put to use, because in their being put to use, people get healed. Lives are changed. Somebody will be inspired. And so I know we've spoken about the scary things about music, how demons can, and that is true. And it's important for you to know about that. But I think it's also important for you to bring out the gift that is in you. Somebody is waiting for what you have. And by you developing the gift that you have, you are silently giving somebody else permission to do the same, whether it's in music or in something else. Because when they see you, bringing out, and stewarding your gift correctly, it tells them that you know what, you can do the same.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd encourage every person. That's what I would want to leave with every person who gets to hear. And your gift may not be music. Your gift may be writing or leadership or, I don't know, something else. Stir up that gift, bring it out, because somebody is waiting to receive it. Somebody is waiting to be encouraged, inspired, empowered, healed by that which you're carrying. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. That was part one with the amazing Mark Langa about music, fame, and the sound, the spirit behind the sound. Thank you so much for making it. I am excited. I think everyone can see the excitement, and I know that this is going to change a life or lives out there, and that really matters. So thank you guys for joining us. Kindly look up for part 2. See you soon.
For a long time, I think I was that musician. I played in a band which was not only doing gospel music, or band actually which did mostly secular music for a long time.